Cindy Rowe, and I am the host of The Kindness Advantage, where in 10 minutes or less, I will give you ways to implement kindness not only into your personal life, but into your professional life as well. Today's topic is a little funny one, but conversations about kindness and rudeness. We're going from one end to the other. And this is personal stories that I've recently encountered and experienced um, over the last few weeks. And I thought, man, this would really make a perfect podcast episode. See, we go through our lives, our daily lives, like just we go through the motions, right? And sometimes um, we don't even realize we are being rude. We don't even realize that we are being kind. Okay, so point of reference. Last week, I was traveling from Chicago O'Hare to Phoenix. And I was just, I wasn't rushed. And so I was just kind of like paying attention to my surroundings, which sometimes I just don't have the luxury to do. And I was paying attention to people around the airport terminals, and no one was smiling. And I was like, wow. So you've heard the phrase, if someone doesn't have a smile, give them one of yours. So I'm like, you know what? I am going to be really intentional and obvious about smiling. Now, not necessarily saying anything to people, but as I pass by and if they make eye contact with me, I made a big smile. And hardly anyone smiled back. And I was like, whoa, like you're at an airport. You're most likely going somewhere better. Maybe they were all going home. I don't know. But I was thinking, wow, most of these people are probably traveling to a fun place, maybe a vacation. So that was my perception, right? I'm like, but nobody is smiling. So, you know, when you have to go through security, and if you're wearing a jacket or a big sweatshirt or something, they make you take it off and go through the scanner. Well, I had this really cute, brand new jacket. So it was flannel. It was really, it's fun and it's longer. And anyway, I took it off at the security checkpoint and then I put it back on afterwards. So then I went to my gate, ended up boarding the plane, flew to Arizona, and I was exiting the plane. The flight attendant was like, that's super cute. You're not going to need it. Oh, and by the way, it's inside out. I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for telling me that. And she's like, it's okay, hon. You're going to be taking it off anyway. It's 95 degrees here. But I was like, oh my gosh, I had had it inside out for well over an hour before, well, maybe an hour before I boarded my plane. Not one person said anything to me. And I sat on the plane for 3 hours, and people sitting next to me never said anything. And here I was with a shirt inside out, and I had no idea. So that was just such a kind gesture. Like she didn't need to tell me, right? I was leaving her. Like it was non-issue for her. But she graced me with some kindness and told me that I had my shirt inside out. Fast forward to when I'm leaving Phoenix, going back to O'Hare, I paid attention to how people were behaving at the airport once again. And I'll have to say, the people at Phoenix Airport were smiling. So I don't know if that has anything bad to say about the people in Chicago. I can't argue too much because I am from the Chicago area. So, but, and if I smiled big, they smiled back. So at least I knew it wasn't me. And now something I experienced today. I actually was speaking at a conference in Madison, Wisconsin, and I was the opening keynoter. So I went into the room to make sure everything was set up and everything was working right. Well, they had this small, the hotel had this really small platform stage, so you will, with, if you say, and a podium on top of the uh, platform. And there was no microphone except for on the podium. Well, I can project pretty well. This wasn't a massive room. So I was pretty confident I didn't need the microphone. However, I would feel more comfortable with the podium down from the stage and near me. And so I asked the event planner if that was something that we could get fixed. And she said, absolutely. I'll have the hotel guy come in and work on it for you. And so I'm setting up the tables, putting things out on the tables, and the gentleman comes in with his worker and he asks me what I want done. And I tell him, I'm like, I just want the podium down. I won't be using the stage. He's like, well, do you want me to get rid of the stage? And I was like, well, I'm sure there's other speakers and they might want the stage. So it doesn't matter that it's there. I just want the podium down. And he's like, okay, well, so then we'll get rid of the stage. I'm like, okay, but it's okay if it stays. And so they're bringing the podium down and getting situated, and he's talking to his worker. And I just go over and I'm like, if it isn't too much trouble, I'd really like the podium over here. And he snaps at me and is like, we're not finished yet. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, well, when I bring my laptop, are all the cords there or do I need to bring my own? And then he's like, if you look over there, you can see the HDMI cable. It's there. You'll have everything set up. Just plug it in and play. I was like, okay, thank you. So then I went back to finishing up the tables, and I went back over it and I was like, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. He's like, well, we're not done yet. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'm sorry. I was like, the guy was rude, and I was trying to be the polite person that I could. And I was just so taken back. And I had to remember that, okay, it was early in the morning. Maybe they just set up the room like that. And now I was asking them to tear it down. Actually, I didn't even want to tear it down. I just wanted the podium moved. But I was like trying to put myself in his shoes. And I think that's the number one lesson I want you to get out of this whole podcast is too often we're able to criticize and we're able to see these other people in a negative way, but we don't put ourselves in their shoes. I have no idea how his morning has been. And maybe he snapped at me because of a nasty text, or maybe he's been up all night, or maybe he just set up that room that way and now I'm having him change it up. It probably had nothing to do with me. It had something to do with something else. And so I just told him, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I walked away. But I just thought I'd share it with you because I'm pretty sure that whirlwind of a week of having somebody, pay kindness to me and then have somebody be pretty rude to me, it gives us a perspective to maybe just slow down, relax, and really search out ways that we can express kindness and provide kindness to others, or actually provide grace for others that can't be kind in the moment. So I will leave you with this, like I leave you every week. Together, we can create waves of change through kindness. I thank you so much for tuning in. Please let me know if you love this episode by sharing it with your friends and subscribing. And I will talk to you next week, where I'm sure we will have an awesome topic you won't want to miss out on. Until then, have a great day.